think it's been pretty successful.
Are you over the disappointment of last year? Last season, the way, yeah.
I thought it was a pretty good year.
Well, it was a great year until in the chase.
The end, yeah. Well, I was disappointed about the chase, but we were able to, one thing about that, I think the winning at Martinsville sort of masked all the disappointment of how the chase was going for us, because it was going into Martinsville. We had ran uncharacteristic to how we ran earlier in the season, and we felt like that we were getting, we got knocked out of the chase by teams we felt like we should have been able to beat, and so I think that was that. Had we not won Martinsville, that the last 10 races would be pretty forgettable. But that Martinsville win really allowed us to kind of put it on the back burner and not even really worry about it. But I don't know what we need to do. I thought that we were in great position to, make a run for it, at least be in the middle of it. I knew that Kevin was going to be the guy that's going to be hard to beat. I could tell that when we tested it at Charlotte in December in 2013. I could tell that they were going to be tough. So, and they'll be tough for years to come. I mean, it's obvious that they got a pretty strong team and got a great crew chief. But I think I don't know what we need to do. We've got it to where we can run great all 26, and that was difficult to do, to where we could get consistent every week. But I don't know. I mean, it's got to be a little bit of luck and a little bit showing up fast. We weren't able to do that.
How much do you guys talk about your football allegiances, you to South Carolina, other guys to their either college or NFL teams? How much is that a topic of conversation during downtime?
I don't know. I think you see a lot of it on Twitter. Stenhouse is a big Ole Miss fan. They're always taking pictures and their Ole Miss stuff. But so you see everybody, especially during bowl weeks, seeing everybody talk about who they're pulling forward, who they want to win. I got a Madden league where there's 32 guys. Every team in this Madden league is a human team, so there's a lot of talk about football in there, especially right now with college bowl games going on. So it's day to day, seeing what everybody's talking about.
Other than maybe Trevor Bain, do you know of any guys that are outward Tennessee fans at all?
I don't. I know that Sterling's a big Tennessee fan. He actually ran the Tennessee logo on his car several times throughout his career in the Nationwide Series at Bristol, for one I know. So I imagine Stedman's a pretty big Tennessee fan too.
Going back to Daytona, you said it's a little bit better when going in there you're a contender. Well, you're kind of always a contender going in there, aren't you?
Yeah, but I mean, you go in a little more confidence having the win, and in your this inner confidence that there's some arrogance, and then there's this inner confidence that you have, like, man, I know I can do it. I did it last year when I needed to be diligent on all those restarts, and when I needed to be hard and aggressive on when Biffle was trying to pass me, and I had to really get hard and aggressive on his door. I know I can do those things, and I know I can get that out of myself to hustle, every single lap, and it's the cars got to be really, really good, but also you have to be willing to work every lap, about work the draft and work side drafting, and even when you can't side draft for advantage, you can side draft to hold a guy and stop his progression. Like, a lot of times I'd pull up beside Biffle when I had hardly anybody behind me and hold him there, and even having Jimmy behind him, he couldn't push him by because I could stall him so hard. And you got to be willing to do that. It's for lack of it's a jerk move, but you got to do it. You have to do it. So I gotta I have that personality. It's not really my personality to go around doing jerk things, but when you're in that particular situation, you got to be ready to work lap after lap, whether you're trying to help yourself or do jerk things. So it takes every bit of those efforts to maintain that track position, because you're just not going to drive up through there and pass guys. The package doesn't work that way anymore. And I talked to several drivers about this particular package and how we can stall each other, and the side draft, the way the cars run side by side is so different than it's ever been, where basically you can have a guy you can hold a guy beside you and not let him pass. I mean, you can just get right next to him and it kills his car, and it kills yours too, but at least nobody's going anywhere, you know. So you know, it's just you gotta be willing to work every lap and do those things that you need to do to keep that track position, because you need to be up front. You have to be first on that last restart. If no one else, you know, if you get shoved out, you're gonna win the race. That's where you need to be to win it.
These rule changes coming up this year, does that affect Daytona at all?
No, I don't think so. I don't think that none of those rule changes are in effect for Daytona. Is the motor changing for Daytona?
See, that's where I thought it was. I thought, yeah.
Well, I guess the power will be down. So I mean, the cars will run a little bit slower, but I'm sure they'll probably end up opening the plate up a little bit once they understand where we're at speed wise. I don't expect I expect the plate to be fluid as far as, and they might not do it during speed weeks. It's rare where they'll do something in the middle of the process, but going to Talladega and stuff, they'll probably, I think that plate may change. They might not admit that right now, but I wouldn't be surprised to see some changes in that as we start to understand where our speed is. Once we get in the draft, I don't know that we'll be a whole lot slower than, because once we get them cars all going together, the draft itself, we kind of can make a lot of things happen and get a lot of speed. But otherwise, the spoiler's the same, and nothing else has changed. I don't think.
Now, you're a student of the sport, and you know that things go in cycles, and Sterling Marlin's name was mentioned here. He's the last two-time winner of the 500 back-to-back. Now you're in that position.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'd love to do it. I enjoy the media week that we had afterwards. Basically, you just go around to everybody every day and talk about the win and celebrate it. It's so much fun. You don't do that any other race where you get to talk to people all day about that win. And so that was really fun, because I enjoyed that win, and that win meant a lot to me. So it made that. Typically, you know, you talk to a driver about going on a week's worth of media, he wouldn't be a very happy driver. But I had so much fun doing that for that particular race. So it's you know, they're rebuilding the grandstands, and it's going to be a whole new atmosphere and a little bit different energy, and everybody's excited about the updates that they're bringing to the racetrack there. So I think it'll change the whole atmosphere down there at pre-race when everybody's sort of getting ready for the show. That's always really overwhelming and a bit, you know, it's just really a lot of things going on at once right before the race starts. So it's a pretty big spectacle. So I expect it to be touch and go all the way up until that moment. Which one of the things that I worry about, and I think a lot of drivers are concerned about, is just trying to get your car through the whole week without any trouble. We've had trouble down there wrecking cars in practice and trying to get through that whole process without tearing your car up and damaging your car, because they put so much. There's a lot of little detail work goes into the 500 car that don't go into the backup, and when you have to pull that backup, they always have a couple question marks about whether you're giving up a tenth or half a tenth in speed because of the details that you've got into that other car. So you don't want to have to go through that. I've had to go through that before, and it's frustrating.
The 500 win, it just seemed like your bravado and swagger just went through the roof after you won that race. Am I on the right track there? As far as your confidence level and stuff?
Well, I felt great about being in the chase. I'm a driver with a team, and we're not a team known for winning a lot of races, right? So here we come and we win the first race of the season, and I thought, all season, all I could think about was, man, we're going to be, chewing our nails all year trying to figure out how we're going to get in that chase. if winning's this important and we're not able to win. If we go through the whole year trying to win and not win, we're going to be chewing our fingernails all the way to the last race at Richmond trying to get in. So when we come out, that was the first thing I said, I think, when I got out of the car, was that we're in chase.
Yeah.
So
And I'll be honest, I didn't understand it at that
Yeah.
point. I was like, what is he talking about?
Right. I was so glad to have that monkey off our back and just to have that relief to know that we didn't have to worry about that. And I think that did give us, we had such a different disposition as a team after that, having that pressure off. And it just allowed us to just go race and have fun. We didn't have to worry about points at all.
Right.
That's all I've done my whole career was count points, and count the other guys' points, my points, and them. You didn't have to worry about none of that. It was fun.